Hey, it's producer Scott with a quick note at the top before we get started. Our live show scheduled for this Thursday, the 12th of August at the Bristol Cider Salon has unfortunately been postponed. So if you hear any plugs for the live show in this episode, do me a favor, ignore them, because the show ain't happening. At least for now. Really though, I'm not kidding. Okay, so with that out of the way, what you're about to hear is a never-before-aired episode from the Patreon Vaults recorded back in April. It centers around a pub quiz that Martin pulled together, and it is a fun one. End of note. Now, on to the show!
Good evening, Martin, my dear friend. How you doing?
Oh, mate. Good. Just knackered. Like, it's good to actually see you in person, though. Like, have you checked out what's on the taps yet? I'll get us a drink.
Oh, man, don't be stupid. Come on, I'll get
No, I'm getting at least the first round. I'm telling you that. Like,
at least?
Yeah.
Oh, that's very kind.
We starting on cider.
Well, I reckon that's a good place to start, but whatever you recommend.
I've actually got some Perry and Bib on the bar.
Oh, nice. Thanks, man. Well, look, cheers. Here's to actually having a drink in person.
Yeah, man, I feel fucking mad drinking after the world's end. Like, just please promise me we'll stop before we start doing shots.
We start. I've driven in, my friend. So, well, look, that said, I can't promise to stop you from getting on the flaming sandwiches. Although I'd imagine it'd probably end up with the pub going up in flames.
Oh, mate, Pat Butcher coming out and saying, "Let it burn, let it
Peggy
burn."
Mitchell.
Who did I say?
You said Pat Butcher, with the big earrings.
Yeah. I know,
you
Pat
must
Butcher.
be kaput. You must be tired.
Well, hopefully this Perry wakes me up before the fucking lightning and thunder of it comes out of me. Oh, no.
And where is this Perry from?
Hobbiton, actually, yeah.
Oh, kia ora, my friend. It's obviously from Aotearoa, the land of the long white cloud. It's from New Zealand. It's good. Finding a New Zealand Perry is quite a rare thing. I did find an actual Perry pear tree down there once, near Arrowtown in the centre of the South Island, which was an old gold mining town. And Martin, you're Cornish, aren't you? Your family's Cornish.
I'm going to stop you there. I grew up in Cornwall, but no, family are all from Cov, but also I completely lied. This is from Newton Court. It's Hereford boys.
Oh, well, you know what? The wilds of Hereford, the wilds of New Zealand, pretty much the same thing.
I just can't believe how, just taking stock. This is so world altering, everything, and it just feels a bit meek and weird. Now we're in an Amdram or Wellian sign-in future? Is this your first actual trip out to a pub?
It's not my first. I've had a couple, been out for a meal, and most significantly, I suppose, is I think I told you that I moved house, right? I recently moved house again, for the third time in 15th time, yeah. And my new house, I'm 30 minutes from a pub, from the new inn.
Really?
So went in there and actually went to the bar, which was quite surreal, kind of nice, but also just a little bit unnerving. And obviously we like to chat about cider, and you're sufficiently enamoured by cider to call yourself the cider shit. Moved over from the beer shit,
yeah,
but
moved over from the beer shit.
Respect to the beer, nice cask ale when it's treated right. Very, very nice.
No, all of it. When it's looked after, it's good. But Hannah and I, we had some food. Literally a car park. This pub's in the first lockdown, they just got their car park sorted with like 3 benches. It was like the Green Man, I think, when we were in the countryside, and it was outside, but still, even then, I was like, I just do not feel comfortable.
Well, what can I say? That sounds utterly majestic and magical, my friend. Wow.
Well, speaking of which, pun intended, I definitely think we should do some close-up magic at the live show.
Hang on, Martin. Whoa, hold your horses. You and I both know very well that if you start to perform some like basic magic, you're going to get called Ron Weasley.
Yeah, all right, point taken. I just love the idea of we're just trying to make a little bit of profit with this show as like a goodbye. But as I say it, doing fucking magic just makes it sound like Del Boy in a fucking get-rich-quick scheme. Like, this time next year, Rodders.
Hang on, like, you do realise that was filmed in Bristol, right?
What? Only Fools and Horses? That's Peckham. That's London.
No. It was set in Peckham, obviously.
Yeah.
But there's a walking tour of it in Bristol.
Oh, and I'll tell you what's even better filmed in Bristol. Known for a fact that they filmed Roger Rabbit here too. So Jessica Rabbit, she stayed just off of Clifton. So I'm surprised you didn't mention that first. That was your first port of call in TV of Bristol.
Well, I mean, I did actually know that. In fact, I watched her perform Coyote Ugly style
as
on
if
the
it
bar.
wasn't sexy enough, Gabe. Like, you don't have to add to it. Jesus fucking Christ. Are you ready for the quiz then?
Absolutely, bloody right. Obviously, I've got geography sorted.
Naturally, here he is.
And I've been doing a little bit of revision on the TV and the film as well, just in case you needed any help.
Well, like, with all these, every time I've done them, I think I'm going to be really good. But I know like one minute thing. I know like the fucking air date of Cheers, the American show. That's all I've got.
That is mightily specific, can I say?
Yeah, all right. Well, if I put a couple quid in, get an answer sheet, you going to get the next round?
Wicked, man. Sounds like a plan. Patrons, welcome to a Patreon-only exclusive episode of the Neutral Cider Hotel podcast, made just for you, our wonderful supporters. Hello, welcome. In this episode, we've got a fun game that Martin has pulled together. But first, chaps, how are we? What are we talking about this week? Where are we at?
Well, first off, I've been at the Good Measure getting it ready. And I've also been hosting the pub quiz and that, and just obviously pubs at the moment are getting ready, and pubs are opening up again, and people are getting used to getting back to it. But yeah, just been pub life. How about you guys?
Pub life, yeah. I went to the pub for the first time actually yesterday. And had a pint, and it was actually a slightly underwhelming experience. That was more to do with the
very British.
That was to do with the service not being to the requisite standard of that of which I've been previously used to, very often by Mr. Martin Goodwin Sharman himself, being a very hospitable host.
There was no noise for that plug there, was there? Yeah.
Oh yeah. What do we get? Come on, pull something random off the board. Come on, what we got?
Cider shit. There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
I guess I am a joke. Yeah, there you go.
Short and sweet.
Oh no! But how was it? How was it with the service getting with your expectation of like getting back to normal? Was it that things just felt a bit different, or were the staff a bit slower? Was it like the cogs weren't moving quick enough because everything was getting back to normal, or like what was the problem with it?
Did you know what? I think having worked in sort of booze industry, although not actually behind a bar in hospitality myself, and I do take my hat off to all of you who do it. I know it's not an easy job, but I have been privy to those people who do it really, really well. and those who don't. And it was actually just a really kind of old fashioned, and immediately sort of slipping back into, well, they're just not really paying me enough attention. They're not checking on me. That it's a bit slow. It was just, they were just a little bit shit rather than anything else. Quite happy taking time, sitting on the bench and the table service. No, no over expectations on those kinds of things. It was just all a bit kind of a bit slow. It was very, very quiet. We were a handful of people in there in the garden. So anyway, that's just me being British and wanting to have a whinge rather than celebrating the fact that we can get back to the pub and in the gardens. Certainly, as it's now starting to open up and get kind of sunny. Grant, have you managed to make it down to the pub yet?
As of this recording date, they're not open yet in Scotland.
That sounded like a court-appointed sentence. As I must confirm, as of this date, we are recording.
As of April 21 to 2020, no, pubs are not open in Scotland yet. So I haven't been. To be honest, I don't know if I'll have the time to rush straight back. It's interesting because having a child 3 weeks before lockdown means that my life now and coming out of lockdown is sort of drastically different from what it was, a few months before this pandemic hit. If we're looking at the kind of end of 2019, it was a very different time for me. So it's not as if now I can be like, right, pubs are open, let's go to the pub. Because that's not really how it
Black
works.
Ace for everyone.
Black Ace for Sola. So that'll be our first drink, Alice, if you're listening.
Black Ace.
Thanks for that. So yeah, it's kind of, as opposed to a pub, I'm looking forward, Jay and I are both looking forward to someone else making a meal for us and sitting down and paying for that. And also the outdoor thing, which is completely understandable, makes sense, but means that because of Scotland and the weather, there aren't a lot of places that have those facilities to be able to open. Just even if they have an outdoor space, it's probably not big enough to justify opening the whole pub or restaurant. So I haven't been yet, but I am looking forward to doing it. But it's just I certainly won't be rushing out like some people are, and that's purely because of circumstances that are now different from what they were before.
Well, as a new parent, to be hyper blunt about it, I'm super anxious, and I don't really. I've got this anxiety about it, but as a new parent, has your view changed on, I guess, the risk factor of getting ill?
Not. I wouldn't say. Well, I wouldn't say it's connected to being a new parent. I wouldn't. I guess I wouldn't want to get ill to have to lie in bed for a week and put that extra burden on Jay. That would be the kind of the bottom line of it. But like you say, I wouldn't want to get sick anyway. And I guess it's not something that has shown itself to be particularly dangerous for kids anyway, which would obviously have a big impact on my approach to it. But it's not really anything to do with being a parent. I think we've spoken about it before, like the whole symptoms of COVID don't really lend themselves well to working in an industry where you need to smell and taste things. So fuck, I don't want to lose that. So yeah. But how are you feeling about being on the other side of it? As you said you're anxious, but as someone on the service side, how are you feeling about that? Things opening up again?
Well, I've been fortunate enough that my bosses have topped up my furlough the whole time to 100%. So I've not missed a penny of my wage.
Brilliant.
And that's Kelly and Bob being legends at good measure. But a problem a lot of people have is that they've had 80% of their paycheck the whole time. And there's been no industry for them to switch up to where they can go, oh, I can get a job in this instead, because they're trained in that, and that's the whole of that industry was capped. And for me, I've got that fortunate thing of like, it's a smaller pub and it's a bit more intimate, and you're in control of all the variables. It's like a one-man pub. There's one member of staff. But I just don't want to be in an environment where the people that are happiest to get back are the ones that are going to get pissed quickest, because it's a
Is it
drug.
still a one-man? Sorry, is it still a one-man pub? Like with COVID restrictions, you can still, right? Yeah, just because you've got a lot more responsibilities, right? That's the only reason.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. But the thing is the same as all of it. No matter what anyone says with those businesses, you can get this and that. But if your business isn't profitable with 3 members of staff, you can't have 3 members of staff on, because the business being closed is the end of it. So it's that kind of like catch-22 of it. But with us, we can keep it safe and we keep it good. But just for me, I've been away from it for a year now properly. Like we did a bit in the middle.
That's so long, right?
Yeah.
But as well, I don't want to be in supermarkets. I love every Tuesday that I get to sit down, get a bit of social interaction, and that's my weekly dose. But as well, like returning to those kind of pub
Company's
norms.
great.
Yeah. Returning to those pub norms and like things, it's going to be interesting. And I know a lot of people that like, you say smell and taste. One of the fucking smells that I remember from pubs years back is that fucking pickled egg aroma. So I know people are going to be just like missing the things that are home. And
Pickled egg.
I'll say to you guys, the pub I used to run, Cock Tavern, we used to have this jar on the back that was there before I was there. And it had like 7 pickled eggs in it, in what essentially looked like the mother of vinegar, but also the cousins and nieces and nephews. It was a big old chunky jar. And
the whole family tree.
yeah,
Incestuous jar of eggs.
yeah, like you put your hand in that jar and it would be like, you ain't from around these parts, are you?
What are you touching me for, boy?
But yeah, so this jar was on the back of the bar for before I was there, and been there for about half a year. And this guy, Luke Malloy, I'll tell you his nickname after this, but he was on shift and all of them disappeared. And I was like, mate, where the fuck are the eggs? Like, what's happened to that jar? He was like, oh no, I sold them. I was like, no, you didn't. There's no way you sold them all. He went, yeah, I sold them all. I've sold them all. I was like, this is a weird con. Okay. So I bought another jar of eggs. And then a week later, they were all gone. I was like, who are you eating these eggs? Like, what is happening, egg boy? And he was like, no. I promise you, I've sold them. And I went, all right, I'll buy another jar. If you can sell these within a week, I will get you all the pickled eggs you like, because he clearly loved them. And he sold a jar of 48 eggs in 2 days.
What? Right, hold on. What is this?
Who is this eggy egg master?
Luke Malloy, the pickled egg boy.
Did anyone see him selling?
Yeah. I thought everyone on the other staff, I thought all the other staff were like having me on, because it was like, oh, let's just play a prank on Martin that we're going to tip away all the eggs and be like, oh yeah, Luke's been selling them.
That's a brilliant prank.
Yeah, just so, I mean, like, what, it's to what end? But you're like, well, that's a great joke in that if I'm questioning it, it must be good. But, so basically, people would come in and go, have you got any hobby pale ales, local pale ales? You go, yeah, do you like pickled eggs? Like, every customer got the pickled egg sale. And he used to do, I don't even know if it has a name, but you get a packet of crisps, you smash them up, and you take a pickled egg and you put it in the pack of crisps and you shake it and you pull it out and it's kind of breadcrumbed with the crisps. Eat that and then drink the beer. But oh my God, that makes me want to gag, just the sheer pickled eggness, like just old vinegar.
Producer Scott, like, does the concept of the pickled egg exist on your side of the pond? Or is that the most ridiculous of British isms?
Well, I can only say I've seen it in movies. I imagine maybe in some small bars in like the south of the Midwest, it might, but I definitely have never seen that on the West Coast.
Well, the thing I'll say is, because of that, man of my word, I bought from this artisanal pickled egg provider. I bought 8 different flavor varieties of pickled eggs.
What?
So we had 8 ciders on hand pull, 8 cask ales, 8 kegs, and 8 jars of pickled eggs. And it just became, it ran off. It became like a thing. So people would come in, and because you've got 8 of them, they'd go, "Oh, that's a lot. Do you mind if I have 1 of each?" And you're like, "Why do you want 8 pickled eggs?"
What flavor? I've never seen a flavored pickled egg.
Garam masala.
Honey nut roasted pickled egg.
Mad shit. Honestly, I will... Sounds silly. I will put the pickled egg flavors in the show notes.
No, are you taking the piss?
Swear 100% of my life, if you go into the cocktail tavern, there, I'll put some pictures up.
I can't wait to go. Do you know, like the first pub I'm going to go to when I'm down south is got to be the cocktail tavern, because I've heard so much about it since we started this podcast. I've never been. It's clearly got a great. Has it still got a great selection of ciders? You're not there anymore, but like,
do you know what? Really annoys me, Grant? It won cider pub of the district the year before I got there. And then the year after I got there.
Shame.
Well, you can't win it. You can't win it 2 years in a row.
All that sea cider that Alice got you to put in. Like. I really want to go there, but first I'll come down to Bristol for a drink with you. But
yes. Well, are you doing that for the cider salon?
Yes. Yep. Me and Jay booked our hotel. We'll be down, I think the Thursday to the Sunday. So definitely.
Amazing.
Yeah. See you there. And we're also going to be down in September. I don't know if we're going to we're staying outside Hereford. So I don't know if we'll make it to Bristol, but we could maybe, coincide at, is Martin totally gone?
No, I'm listening.
You are so still. That is unbelievable.
Do you know what I was still about? I've just seen they've upped the game. So I sent you guys a thing. It says we before COVID times, we stock 10 flavors of pickled eggs. I was like, there's 10?
Whoa.
But yeah, I don't mind driving to Herefordshire. It's an hour and 20. It's no problem.
Yep. I'm gonna do. Yeah, I'm gonna go and see. Well, I've never been to Oco Pictured. Never been to see Tom. And I've been to Ross on Wye, camped there. Never got the tour of the cidery. So I'm gonna go and see Albert and see James and Susanna and stuff. So yeah, come join us for a little
mate,
cider tour. That's in September, but August 1st, yeah, we'll see you at Cider Salon.
Everybody, cidersalon.co.uk. You know that's the place to go and buy your tickets and to check out all of the fantastic events that are going to be happening that week. All right, that's our little bit of pub chat. Let's get on to a quiz. Martin, what have you got for us?
So, because the pubs are opening up again, and everything's moving. I did a pub quiz for the pub I work at, and the specialist round was fictional pubs. So I thought, as pubs are opening up, we could have a fictional pub opening pub quiz in our fictional pub of the Neutral Cider Hotel. So,
bravo,
publicans, are you publicly ready to play the game? There's only so many times you can say pub, isn't there?
Bring it on.
So
in public.
I'm going to tell you right now, there are 10 questions on pubs that are not real. And I want you to write down your answers for each of these 10 questions. And then at the end, we're going to count up who has the most correct answers, and they win the quiz. So we'll go through the answers individually as well, and we'll get Scott doing a yes or no buzz, correct, incorrect, for dramatic effect.
Okay, but we're waiting till the end.
Yeah, so we'll just do the straight 10 questions. If you've got any auxiliary questions, if you don't understand, I'll repeat and I'll give you a little bit of help, but I won't give you any more clues. The questions are written as such. This is a strict pub quiz. I run a fucking good pub quiz.
Yeah,
He really does.
and you were relying on us not watching you do the pub quiz.
Oh, did you? No, you didn't. I saw on Instagram.
No, I'm just saying you were relying on us not doing that on.
Yeah, well, I did actually have. This sounds silly. I do have an extra 10 questions always on the specialist round because
just in case. Just in case.
Well, if a question doesn't
you really
work,
need to get out of furlough.
yeah. Well, there's been one time, mate, where I did a quiz and the specialist round, the music, the link between the years was 2003. All these songs were released in 2003, but one of them, it was released in 2002. But it got big. It got to number 1 in 2003. And before I did the whole question, I went, now, guys, only one of these isn't from 2003. But you have to tell me the link between all of these songs. And everyone was like, is it 2003? I was like, oh shit. So since then, I have over-prepared. Oh God. So guys, any questions about the quiz? Anything you need to know before we go? Or are you ready?
Got a pen,
Bring
got
it.
paper.
Got a pen, got paper. All right. So fictional pubs. Question 1. Now, question 1 here is, it's a bit of a list and there is a blank at the end of the list. I need the blank. So question 1. The first post, the old familiar, the famous cock, the cross hands, the good companions, the trusty servant, the two-headed dog, the mermaid, the beehive, the king's head, the hole in the wall. Blank. What's the blank?
Beehive. Hole in the wall. Okay. I think I've got it.
Cool.
Oh yeah.
Just trying to psych out Graham.
Absolutely no idea.
Yeah, got it.
All right.
Got it.
Question 2. The Queen Vic in EastEnders, as classic as they come. But which character set it on fire in 2010? So for American audiences, EastEnders, it's a very serious period drama. In current times, the period is now in East London.
2010. Has it only been set on fire
2010.
once?
In 2010 it was.
Well, that
I
was,
watched
okay.
EastEnders from about 1990 to 1999, 2000. Whenever the Who Shot Phil Mitchell theme, that's when I kind of gave up. Really? So,
Really? That was
yeah.
that was when I actually got quite into it. It was the Who Shot Phil Mitchell. Used to go to my mate's house on a Friday night and never watched EastEnders, but the TV was always on in the background. And then that night we were like, we're going to have to watch this. And I think we
Cultural
all thought,
moment.
well, I think we all thought you were going to find out. And then it turned out that you didn't.
It was Maggie Simpson,
We were like,
wasn't it?
oh, right, okay. Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
So was this like the sort of cultural inspiration for you then coming into a really successful band, like watching Who Shot Phil Mitchell?
Yeah.
These are the kind of the
Well, actually, if you
the things that you
if you really listen to the lyrics, no.
Ian Beale does Ian Beale get in? Yeah.
Grace refers to Ian Beale's struggle.
Oh God.
Ian Beale has now
Okay.
made it onto the Neutral Cider Pod. Fucking hell. I before we go on to the next question, I will say that I remember fondly as a kid. But basically, we had to go to bed at pretty much 8 o'clock when we were young. And EastEnders would start at 8. So you'd be like, oh, just let me stay up. And it didn't matter what was on TV. You just wanted to stay up. So Dad would go, all right. And when the episode would end, it ends famously. Every episode ends with doof, 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 doof. But Dad would always go, now it's time to go to bed. And we would be in hysterics like, no, not the song. Want to stay up. And the one time I did stay up later, I snuck downstairs and he was watching Twin Peaks. It fucked me up. Oh. I saw it through the door. I was like, what is happening?
Explains a lot.
I told you to go to bed. I even did the song.
It is happening again.
The owls are not
It
what
is
they seem.
happening.
Bedtime song
Again.
from Twin Peaks is going to be a little bit creepier, right?
All right. So, number 3, Frodo, Sam, Merry, and Pippin first meet Strider in which inn? Any Lord of the Rings
All
fans
over it.
here?
No.
G'day.
Oh, of course he is. Is there
yeah.
Perry in Lord of the Rings, Gabe? There's got to be some kind of like Hobbit Perry. One of the Hobbits, I guarantee one of the Hobbits says, I made my first drink. It was from my nan's tree. And it's the best drink I've ever made.
It was in the extended edition of The Two Towers. Actually, no, it was with the Fellowship of the Ring when they started off. Yes, that's true. That's
In
true.
the Shire.
Who's Pippin?
Just to see your knowledge, Gabe, who is the Hobbit character who was cut from the Lord of the Rings films for time?
The Hobbit character. Are you asking me or are you testing me?
I'm asking you because I know that there's basically my best mate, James Joe, is a huge Lord of the Rings fan, but there's a character in the books that's cut entirely for time.
Tom Bombadil.
It is Tom Bombadil.
What?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. All right, move on. Jesus, I didn't know the pub. I don't know the guy that's not in the book that is in the book that isn't in the film. When is the pub question about Friends coming up?
All right, I'm not even kidding. Number 4, Chandler and Monica. No, I'm kidding.
He was so excited.
No, I was nervous. I was like, oh shit, I've said it now and I'm going to get it wrong.
Oh, yeah, here he is.
They just go to a coffee shop. They didn't even drink beer or cider.
So, number 4. Okay, bit of classic literature here. Which legendary writer released their essay, The Moon Underwater, in 1946? And it was a detailed description of their ideal public house.
When was this?
This was in 1946. So, an author you guys will know. Spoiler alert, my wife, Hannah, guessed this one because she had no fucking idea. And she was like, he loves him. Like, it's got to be someone Martin likes. I was like, well, I'm not going to question about someone I don't. But basically, The Moon Underwater is a pub name that's been taken by a lot of pub companies because it's a famous kind of, it's an ode to the pub. So this is like the dream pub.
I would be 0 for all of these right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm maybe 1 for 4 by guessing the fucking Queen Vic, but I've got three options for that number 4.
Okay.
And one other clue. Number 4, in this author's most famous work, there is a very important scene in a pub and a very important scene about measurements of drink.
Oof.
Right, moving on.
Gabe, without giving it away, any thoughts you've got? You seem to be like, listeners at home won't see that he's like fully clasping his face.
Well, no. So I had an educated guess at somebody, primarily based upon the year and just kind of thinking. But your clue pertains to, I think, something else that I know, and I'm just trying to remember the name of the author.
Okay. And Grant, do you have any idea?
I mean, like I say, I've got 3 answers here. I've got a couple that I put down because you said that you like, that Hannah guessed because you like this writer. One, like Gabe, possibly based around the year, but then I could be completely wrong because I don't even know when this guy was around. And the fact that you're now, I feel like all of mine are American, and I don't think that's right. Now that you're saying,
you think I don't like American authors?
No, I think that with the way you've described, the way they've described that they've written a homage to like a pub, makes me think they're probably not.
Oh, they're definitely British. Like you can extrapolate that, like the pub as like an institution.
Yeah. So
definitely.
Nah, struggling now then.
Okay, I've gone for something.
Cool. Do you guys like horror films at all?
Nope.
Yes.
Nope. I mean, the second probably to how little I like Lord of the Rings, so I'm doing well for this quiz. It goes horror films, EastEnders, Lord of the Rings.
Cool. Well, you've actually mentioned this horror film, so that's why I was kind of confused. I thought you'd tee me up to a nice little lead in here. So number 5, The Wicker Man features a famous scene in a pub called The Green Man with a song about the landlord's daughter. But what is her name?
Is it just first name?
Yeah, you can get an extra point if you get the...
I don't know.
Middle and last.
I think I've got the first name, but
Oh, the landlord's daughter. It's a very intense scene where it's all shot in Dutch angles. Yeah, but yeah, the policeman just going into the pub and then all these regulars talking about this woman. It's really intense. It's really intense.
I think the name popped straight into my head, but whatever. Let's see how it is.
Cool. And Gabe, have you got a guess? You seem poised. You seem like you've got purpose here on this. You seem like you know what you're doing.
I do. No, that's a lie. That's just the face. That's my. I've got this completely under control. I'm like the swan, yeah, serene on the top, yet paddling like fuck underneath. So.
But Grant, is the Wicker Man as important in Scotland as, say, I guess Hot Fuzz is in the West Country in the UK, as like a film of an area?
What, the area being Scotland?
Yeah, but like in the UK, there's English films, there's like UK films, and it doesn't matter how old they are. I mean, we're fucking still celebrating 1966 in football.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, there's a music festival called the Wicker Man, and it's based down in Dumfriesshire, and the reason they have it there is because that's where a lot of it was actually filmed. And they build a Wicker Man and burn it every year at the end of the festival. It's just that no, this is at the music festival. I didn't spoil nothing in the film. This is the music festival. So yeah, I guess it's of cultural importance for a lot of people. And man, you go out to those Western Isles, they're a lot of fun. Like you'll find a pub very much like that, and it's I wouldn't say it's culturally accurate anymore. The main reason I love it is because it inspired a lot of the comedy of the Legal Gentleman.
Yes, of course.
Do
Comedy.
you know who the town from League of Gentlemen is named after?
Roy Chubby Brown.
Yeah, what a prick. Number 6. The Leaky Cauldron is a Harry Potter classic. This one is for Ben Gibbard. But what is the name of the pub where the trio met in The Half-Blood Prince? So there's a clue in the question. The Leaky Cauldron is a Harry Potter classic. But what is the name of the pub where the trio met in The Half-Blood Prince?
Less knowledgeable on my non-Lord of the Rings fantastical
I do.
wizard action.
You don't read all the rip-offs of the Lord of the Rings.
That's right.
So I grew up in Cornwall, and there's a town just across from Weybridge called St. Mabin. I went to school with a kid called Charlie, and I went to his house. He's a guitarist, fucking killer guitarist as well. But I went to his house, and his mum was in the studio of their house, just like drawing. And I realized she's actually an illustrator and writer, and she wrote The Worst Witch.
Wow.
Fuck. Yeah.
Nice.
So she also wrote The Large Family. Do you guys remember those? The books about the elephants?
No.
No.
I mean, like,
There's one about the mum who's like just
Do we sound like elephants?
5 more minutes. She's literally like
Yes.
trying to have a bath.
Yes.
But I remember reading
I
that
do
as a
remember
kid,
that.
and I walked into my mate's house, and his mum was just like drawing it. I was like, oh, I remember that.
Wow.
And I looked on the walls, and it was all on the wall. I was like, hang on, did you draw this? Like, what? But yeah, just fucking absolutely gorgeous. But have you guys got an answer at all for this one? Number 6. Any ideas on this Harry Potter question?
Well, you said there was some kind of clue in the question, so I have interpreted that in a certain way, and put a Harry Potter bent on it. So I've just guessed, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Cool. And Grant, before we move on, you got one?
I've done the same. Like I feel like I should know this. I'm a bit more disappointed in myself than I was with the Lord of the Rings one, but I've taken a punt.
And number 7, the Nag's Head features in TV shows Rock and Chips, The Green Green Grass, and which other British comedy?
Got it.
Have you?
Yeah.
I feel like I know that.
Talk us through the thinking, Grant, and then Gabe, you can kind of solidify afterward. But Grant, what's in your head right now? So listeners at home that might have it might be going, what is he thinking?
Well, when you said that, I thought, it's got to be an old comedy. Green
Nah,
Grass.
it's new, brand new.
Yeah.
Brand new.
Oh, what? You try to throw me off here? Fucking hell. What a
No.
cheat.
So Rock and Chips and The Green Green
David, what's
Grass.
Rock and Chips?
And what is rock and chips? Rock and chips, or rock and like chips that rock?
No, like cod and chips, but with the fish rock. Rock and Chips.
That's a show.
Like rock,
Mhm.
like rockfish.
Yeah,
Rockfish.
like
rockfish.
I'm glad we're all on the same page of never having heard of that before.
You've never had rock.
Sorry.
No, I've just never heard of that show.
Oh yeah, Scott. Honestly, sorry, American listeners who have paid for this premium content.
Jeez, oh.
This is so British.
Are there any American ones in here?
I mean, Harry Potter is one of the biggest film franchises of all time.
Yeah, based in the UK.
I'd say Lord of the Rings is one of the biggest literary phenomenons of all time. I'd say number 4's one of the most famous writers of all time. I'd say number
but where's
5
it
is
set,
like
though?
from a country that's just disgusting and rotten. Number 7 is number 8, number 9, and number 10 are American. So get ready
Are
for
they?
the yeah.
Right.
Look, he asked if there were any, and then went, "Are they? Well, I'm not going to win that."
I know. Yeah.
Aren't there any more British ones?
I don't know.
And then number 8. This is the American section. Is there an American sound here, Scott?
Yes.
America is the home of the Newtown Pippin. So, number 8. Private investigator Eddie Valiant watched a performer in the Ink and Paint Club bar. But what is the performer's name?
Oh God, I think I know this.
What?
One of my favorite movies as a kid.
I knew you'd get it simply because you've said this before. Now, Grant, there's a big clue here because we've discussed it, but Gabe has actually mentioned this American performer before, and you've actually questioned his, I guess, not motives in bringing it up, but like the decision to bring it up.
What?
I think he just called me a weirdo. Yeah.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Justifiably.
Right, number 9.
Number 9. So,
Keep it rocking.
number 9, Coyote Ugly, the legendary bar with an awesome soundtrack. Which artist released the single Can't Fight the Moonlight from the soundtrack to the film?
God, what's the name?
You can try to resist, but you hide from my kiss. That's the
Number
mouse.
10. Number 10.
Have you got it?
Is that
Fucking
that?
right, I've got it. Are you kidding me?
Are you joking?
No, I'm not joking.
You know, one team got this right in the quiz.
what?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, now I'm doubting myself. Like, I thought it was an
What's-
easy one.
What is? I'm trying to remember her name. I can see her face.
Can you?
Just draw the face.
Okay. Can I do that? Would he give me bonus points?
If it looks like her, I will.
Another
Okay.
another classic.
Oh, yes.
She's got bangs. She's got a fringe.
Cool. And
Right.
number 10, Cheers, where everyone knows your name. In what year did the show first air?
Oh, that's a good one.
Do you remember Cheers growing up, guys? You guys are
I
actually,
do.
you guys might have been around when it was on.
Is that an old joke? I can't quite tell.
When I
Oh yeah, definitely for me. I was born after it finished.
yeah, it was on at like it was one of those Channel 4 like 10
It
a.m.
was, yeah.
mid-morning ones
Oh.
that you would watch like at uni or kind of latter high school age. Even though it like depicted a bar, it was still on like the middle of the day. When did it first air in the US? Like the first
Yeah, when it came out.
right? Fuck it.
See, for me, I came to know Ted Danson from Curb Your Enthusiasm. That was my first
wow.
That was your starting point.
Yeah.
Wow.
So The Office and Curb Your Enthusiasm were two kind of fundamental comedy things, which is why I'm a knobhead.
So what?
Does
you-
explain.
Not even 3 Men and a Baby. He's 3 Men and a Baby, right?
Yeah, I've still not seen it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know.
that was
I
probably
only
my
kn-
introduction.
I only know him as well from it, and I'm glad. He basically thought Larry David was just being a bit of like a crazy guy and being like, oh, I've got this little show I'm doing. It costs no money and like it's
Yeah,
filmed
that's
on
right, yeah.
digital. Like, can you help out? And him and his partner were like, yeah, sure, we'll do your show, Larry. Like, he'll never cash this favor and this show's getting broke. He's like, they filmed an episode and they were like, this is not going to air. Oh, God.
All right, are we ready?
Yeah, guys.
We're ready.
Guys, you got answers for all 10?
No, but I can make them up.
Cool. So it's answer time. So question 1. I'm going to reel this off as quick as I can. The first post, the old familiar, the famous cock, the cross hands, the good companions, the trusty servant, the two-headed dog, the mermaid, the beehive, the king's head, the hole in the wall, blank. What is the blank? Gabe.
I really don't know. That's the one question I've not answered. I feel very ashamed.
So, Grant, can you fill the blank?
The Red Lion.
So it's part of a pub crawl. So the first post, the old familiar, the famous cock, the cross hands, the good companions, the trusty servant, the two-headed dog, the mermaid, the beehive, the king's head, the hole in the wall, and the world's end. It is the film The World's End.
Simon Pegg.
So these are all the pubs on the crawl. Yeah, it is. And not to spoil it for anyone, but if you watch the film, all the pubs' names have meanings. So I thought any of those, if you've seen it, would give across the.
I have seen it. I haven't
actually watched it.
I was thinking about that movie franchise. I was like, it's bound to be a question related to that, and it was the fucking first one. Well done.
No. Well, Hannah also, we watched it and she absolutely fucking hates it.
I don't think it's very good. Like, I don't think it's very good. It's definitely the worst of the three.
Hot Fuzz or Shaun of the Dead, depending on what kind of thing you like.
I mean, Shaun of the Dead is by far the best.
Like, I would agree.
That's they show that to anyone and they will love it. Hot Fuzz is very, like, I don't know. It's very British. I know it's all very British, but like, I don't know. Yeah,
I understand what you're saying. It's still very funny though. I liked Hot Fuzz a lot.
Yeah. Do you not think that Shaun of the Dead is more, I guess, divisive as like a horror comedy than Hot Fuzz is an action comedy? Like, I think you could show people Chicken Run as like a action thing more so than you could show an action horror. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not even
putting them into categories. I just think Shaun of the Dead is classically funny. The jokes in it are not
translate
specific.
No matter where you are.
Yeah, they're not specific. Like Hot Fuzz is very English, and World's End. I just didn't think it was that funny. I think maybe by that time you're a bit bored of the thing.
Yeah. Also, yeah, their relationship of being like young and funny when they're old, it's like, okay, get it.
Yeah.
Totally. One of you needs to be put to sleep now. So question 2, the Queen Vic in EastEnders. As classic as they come, but which character set it ablaze in 2010? Grant, your guess.
Phil Mitchell.
And Gabe, your guess.
Sharon Watts, if that is her maiden or married name. I don't know.
Sharon. Are you saying Sharon Watts? As in Sharon what? Sharon what? Scott? Grant's got it. There you go. I had to build some drama.
Well, because I vaguely remember a scene where, like, because Peggy was in the pub, right, and she was trying to stop him doing it, and he was doing it. It was like an insurance job or something, right?
Well, he basically he was an alcoholic in this season of it, even though it doesn't have seasons, and he believed that his mum loved the pub more than him, so he burnt it down. And there's a famous,
right?
Yeah, so the proper famous scene, and why I thought you might get it, is she's outside it going, "Let it burn, let it all burn," and it's like it was promotional everywhere. And then if you watch it, there's Phil scuttling around weirdly, like. He's obviously trying to act like he's stumbling drunk, but he just looks like a guy impersonating a beetle. So it's very good.
The scuttler. So well done, Grant. Well done. Your EastEnders knowledge is coming to
seems to be, yeah. Lord of the Rings.
Well, number 3. Here is the Lord of the Ring, Gabe himself. So, Gabe, Frodo, Sam, Merry, and Pippin first meet Strider in which inn?
The Prancing Pony.
And Grant, what have you got?
Didn't have one. Didn't have an answer.
I mean, it's obvious what it is.
Of course,
isn't it?
it's obviously
I
right.
mean, it couldn't be anything else, could it? How did you know that, Gabe?
Because I've seen the movie on a number of occasions, and it's a great and iconic scene at the beginning when all all the little fellas, Mr. Underhill, I presume, and all of that kind of stuff. And when the ring wraiths are chasing after them, get over the Buckleberry Ferry and all that kind of stuff. It's cool.
I would have said like Hobbitshire or something.
Are we going to do the whole film or?
No.
Grant,
Grant.
have we got 3.5 hours of the extended edition? That'd be great.
Well, Grant, I do actually have to give some insight here. So when Gabe and I actually properly hung out for the first time, I was off my tits pissed by the end of it. And I couldn't even get into the car home. So Gabe said, I can't carry the ring, Mr. Frodo, but I can carry you. And he carried me all the way to my... This story isn't true, I'm sorry. Just in case any listeners were like, oh God. So number 4, which legendary writer released their essay, The Moon Underwater, in 1946? A detailed description of their ideal pub. Grant.
I don't have it. Don't know.
You don't have it? Gabe, you got a guess?
I went for Douglas Adams.
So, in their other work, they wrote a book called 1984 where they were talking about...
Hold
That
on.
was my first answer.
I had that as well.
That was my first answer. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you just both told me your answers and neither of you said George Orwell. So,
Well, I wrote it down and then you said
I
stuff
asked
that-
you. I asked you what your answers were. Neither of you said George Orwell.
It's like taking a test and going like, no, I wrote that on another piece of paper that I threw away though. That counts.
but I wrote that down before you gave the clue. Your clue was not a clue. It was a distraction.
So,
Yeah.
So in 1984, he goes into a pub and they're saying the metric system. They're going on about pints. So, fuck you both. Number 5, The Wicker Man features a famous scene in The Green Man with a song about the landlord's daughter. But what is her name? What's the guesses, guys?
Oof.
Who's first?
Susan.
I think Ingrid.
Ingrid, Susan,
Oh, big fat nose all around.
Willow.
Hello.
And Willow McGregor, and on from Willow to the Weeping Willow. Number 6, The Leaky Cauldron, Harry Potter classic. But what is the name of the pub where the trio meet in The Half-Blood Prince? Grant.
3 Witches.
3 Witches. Gabe, what are we saying?
I went 3 wands.
It's 3 broomsticks. I'm glad you got the link. I was
Three.
like, oh yes.
Trio.
Damn it. That was good though, guys.
Yeah.
That was good.
I mean, wrong, but good. So, speaking of wrong, but good, here's some shit comedies. The Nag's Head features in Rock and Chips, The Green Green Grass, and which other British comedy?
Only Fools and Horses.
Grant?
I had is a pint of lag. No, 2 pints of
2
lager and
pints
a
of
packet.
lager.
Chris, yeah.
So Grant is wrong. Okay. With The Green Green Grass, you're correct with it.
Yes.
Yeah. So Only Fools and Horses, Green Green Grass is the offshoot, and Rock and Chips is the prequel that featured Jay from The In-Betweeners, and it was shite.
I forgot that the green grass was the shoot. It was the offshoot.
Yeah. So, number 8, private investigator Eddie Valiant watched a performer in the Ink and Paint Club bar. And I'm going to ask Grant, because I know Gabe has got a raging one for this one. Grant, what is the performer?
Daphne du Maurier.
Daphne du Maurier. I'm afraid that's incorrect. So, Gabe, stirring the ink in the paint club. Who stirred emotions in you as a young boy?
Jessica Rabbit.
It's fucking Jessica Rabbit. Of course it is. The Ink and Paint Club.
Shit. I actually remembered it because of his name.
Bob Hoskins.
Bob Hoskins. Thank you.
Legend.
Bob Hoskins.
So, number 9, stirring emotions, Coyote Ugly, the legendary bar with an awesome soundtrack. But which artist did Gabe draw? that sun can't fight the moonlight. Let's see the drawing, Gabe.
What I did the drawing and I wrote a name down as well.
Go on.
So here's the drawing.
That's Grant.
Yeah. I bloody got it right as well.
Sorry.
Is the answer Raggedy Ann?
Leanne Rhymes. I've got
Leanne
down
Rhymes,
here.
Grant. Who have you got?
Yes, Leanne Rhymes. Yeah.
It's a Leanne Rhymes. Of course it is.
I was relying on that one getting a point on you on that one, but
Yeah.
No, unfortunately.
Oh, well, so what's the scores just now? Like I'm getting humped, right?
Scott, what are the scores
Well.
before we go into the final one?
Currently, the score is Grant 2 points, Gabe 4 points.
It's not as dramatic as 15-0, but we'll take it.
Yeah.
So, number 10, cheers, where everyone
Cheers.
knows your name.
Dun, dun,
In
dun,
what
dun.
year did the show first air?
Why don't you make this worth 4 points?
No.
Nah, don't worry about it. 1979.
1979. Gabe, what are we saying?
1986.
Somewhere in between the two.
Yeah. Can I guess?
You can.
1984.
Somewhere in between
I had
the three.
I had 82.
So 85 is a-
85.
It is 1982.
Oh, fuck, I had that before I
Oh.
fucking fuck.
Year I was born.
So, the winner is me with 5 points. That's
Get out. Don't be stealing my victory.
yeah, guys. Well done.
This is great. Well, there we go. The answer sheets are in. And what can I say? Well, I tell you what I can say. I'm really happy that I've done well on this quiz and that I beat Grant and that there was no abominable cheating and I was just, half decent.
Yeah,
I'm quite happy. Thank you.
You did good. It really is like it shows the kind of base knowledge of British stuff. I mean, there were like 3 at the end that were American, but it was proper like you could see Grant just being like, I'm not English, I'm Scottish.
Yeah.
It's a real divide. But he didn't get the fucking Scottish question, did he? The Green Man, his blower's daughter in I can't even remember the name of it now. Wicker Man. There you go. I'm very tired, but yeah.
I was going to say, I want to make sure that everybody understands that this does not change the standings because when I announced the standings in the episode a couple of weeks ago, that was the updated standings. So we are still at a 6-6 draw right now.
Guys, it's close, hey? It's close.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder how we might be able to break that tie,
The
Scott. What
live
do you
show,
reckon?
maybe the live show.
Ooh.
Don't give me
could
more
be.
to write.
Yep. Get to work.
Well,
Get to work.
talking about fucking writing, this quiz was written about pubs reopening when it was the first inkling in like the coming of spring, wasn't it? It was like the spring changing over. Like everything's changed again dramatically. So it sounds weird talking about restrictions
Yeah.
being changed. Like talking about World War One and we're in World War Two. Like, yeah.
Yeah, there was an extensive vaccine and pandemic discussion that seems dated, even though it's only 3 or 4 months old now. But
Got to keep up.
Martin, I believe, where are you in your vaccine journey?
I've about 2-3 hours ago now had the second and nearly fainted for the second time.
No.
Yeah.
But you were very brave and you didn't. That's
Yeah.
and that's
Do you know what
well
though?
done.
Didn't get a sticker or a badge. So honestly,
Oh,
I hope they
what's
stop the NHS. That's what I want to have.
Yeah. Shame on them.
It's good. Like I'm more anxious than I think I am. Obviously, just for the record, didn't faint. Caught myself thinking of fainting, but I was sweating. Literally, the nurse said, "Do you mind mopping your brow?" And I mean, when your face is like a waterfall, they're like, "Oh, dude."
That's unfortunate.
It's like, "Oh, is it a medical reason?" No, you just look horrific. Oh, I can't look at you.
Did she say
sallow
your face was sallow? Yeah.
Oh, it's coming. Yes. Her eyes did. Her sad, deep wells of tragic eyes. That's what fucking.
Gabe, what about you?
I am nearly at number 2, not quite. So
Hang on.
God, it takes so long.
How old are you compared to me? Why is my voice gone like this? Well, tune in next week to find out.
You're a 12-year-old boy, and I am an actual man.
Well, I shouldn't be allowed a vaccine, should I? Actual man.
But I am a few years older than you. I delayed on taking the first vaccine by a week or two. I can't remember exactly when, because I was just finishing the book and I had the deadline, and I desperately didn't want to like be wiped out for any number of days whilst I was like up at 5 and trying to write 3,000, 4,000 words a day. So,
Jesus, yeah.
So I'm a touch behind you, Martin, but it's not a race. It's not a race.
Well, I've got to
it's not
say,
a competition.
I think listeners might have the same view as me, where when you started that story, it sounded like you were saying, I'm holding off so that I can get all the information when I'm researching. Like, it sounded like proper conspiracy nut. That's how it, when it started, I was like, oh no, he's not, is he? I need the
Watching a lot of videos.
Yeah.
Watching a lot of YouTube.
Confirming a lot of bias.
Yeah.
Oh.
But why does it take? I feel like you guys got your first shot a long time ago. What's the time difference between your first and your second?
The government says it started off at 12 weeks, and then a few weeks back they reduced it down to 8 weeks. But what they want to do is to try and get as many people as possible to have the first shot, which is obviously not 100% effective, but it gives some degree of effectiveness for a greater proportion of the population, rather than just ensuring that a smaller number of people are like fully kind of vaccinated. So that's the approach that's been taken. So hopefully it turns out that that's all right and is as effective as doing it what the actual manufacturers say. So we'll see in a bit. So
I guess we have a spoiler riches here. They pretty much insisted we come as close to the 3 or 4 week timeline that the manufacturers prescribe. So I've been fully vaccinated since March.
You've been fully vaccinated 4 times over, Scott. This is amazing. Like,
You're on the 12th one.
You're well vaccinated. Yeah, boom.
I'm getting the Epsilon variant vaccine this week.
You're like a regular at the pub. It's Scott. He always gets Moderna. He's here.
Yeah. Oh, let's changing it up. He's going Pfizer this week. Look at that. You got.
Do you mind if I have a little taste of that? Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, mate. Is it meant to look like this? He's good. Jesus. Oh my God. Well, like genuinely, obviously I was super anxious about the vaccine, but more so about the pubs. It's why I left my job in a pub. And yeah, there's definitely some missing of that kind of social aspect. And with the podcast changing, it's very different. But now I'm double vaxxed. It's that kind of like feel much more comfortable going out once I have the flu symptoms tomorrow for 3 days and nearly die. That's
Well, I can tell you, having been fully vaccinated for several months, and with everything that's going on here in the States, they're starting to, a lot of cities, big cities especially, are starting to recommend wearing masks again. And to be quite honest, like when I've gone to places that are indoors and even somewhat crowded, I'm still wearing a mask. But there was a lot of anxiety with it because for a while, only the people that weren't vaccinated were wearing masks. So if you walked into a room and you were wearing a mask, most people thought you weren't vaccinated. And it's like, no, I am vaccinated. I'm just being extra cautious.
But
it feels like we're going back to that.
That's the problem with like any sort of legality of like, oh, if these people do this and that's fine, because you can either lie if it's like, oh, if you've had your double vax, you don't have to. It's like, dude, just do what's going to keep everyone safe, surely. But I mean, I know a lot of people in hospitality that like the words Freedom Day in the UK, Scott, that's what it was called when you were like told you didn't have to. The people that then go into those pubs and they're like young members of staff, they can't get vaccinated yet, or they've just had their first. It's a big risk for them being there. Yeah. And then someone's like, well, yeah, you know, like Will, the good measure, said that someone came up to him when he was wearing a mask and said, you know what? Take that muzzle off so I can hear you. It's like, dude, you don't know.
Unbelievable.
You don't know if any family, friend have passed away. He's got
Right.
friends that have like got long COVID, and you're like, why would you even say that to someone?
Where does the drive or the desire to persecute somebody just for being cautious, regardless of their reasons? It's the calling out of somebody for their decisions because it doesn't conform to what you want or
Now you really
what has
sound like
been-
an anti-vaxxer.
what has been permitted.
You sounded like, well, you shouldn't slander me.
Don't let people tell you what to do. You do what you want to do.
Well, I tell you what. As it happened, Martin and I popped into Bristol for a drink the other day, just a few days after Freedom Day, and the energy and the intensity of lots of people having obviously a really good time. And it was pretty sweltering, sort of hot as well. Well, we decided to actually take a little detour just around to avoid the particularly intense bit because it just seemed so incongruous that such a short time ago it was, that would have been unthinkable. So just stay safe, everybody.
Well, to give you an idea, Scott, they had it's a street in Bristol that's cobbled and it's like pedestrianised, and there's the pubs either side. And they've all got shared tables outside that are all so close to each other that we walk through with our masks on. And I was like, don't even breathe. Like it was the sweat in the air as well. It was humid. It was like 28 or something like that. And you're like, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, literally, I was like, this is just wrong. I don't even like going in a supermarket and someone might have touched the macaroni that I'm going to buy. I'm like, that's horrible. So when you're walking through what felt like a crowd before a gig, it was like, what is happening? Like, what? I'm just so
Isn't it interesting that 2 years ago you wouldn't have cared? You probably would have liked that.
I would have licked the air.
And now that's a
I would
nightmare.
have just like a fish. Oh, perspiration in the air.
Hang on, have you turned into Hannibal Lecter? Would you like some fava beans and a nice Chianti with that liver? What's going on?
No, that's how I suckle on the particles of people.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Thank God I'm vaccinated because it's just a dirty
No
fucking
suckling,
mouth
please.
today. Yeah. No suckling. Episode title. Beautiful game.
Oh dear. Well, look, there we go. That's our last episode from the Patreon Vaults View, and what a fun
Holy
pub quiz it was
shit.
too. Thank you, Martin, for writing a great quiz, and thank you, Gabe, for winning it. Yay!
Well done, Gabe. Well done, Gabe.
Thank you. Well done to me. But remember, of course, we still have a few more episodes coming up through to the end of August when season 1 of the Neutral Cider Hotel will be coming to an end, including one with a most excellent surprise guest. Siren, alert, honk, noise, etc. So make sure you do keep coming back for more cider fun. And to stay up on the latest Neutral Cider Hotel news, you can do so by following us on social media. We are at Neutral Cider Hotel on Instagram and Facebook, and Neutral Cider Pod on Twitter. You can also go to our website to listen online or share episodes at neutralciderhotel.com. And lastly, with season 1 wrapping soon, we want to hear from you. We keep on saying it, but this is maybe your last time for certainly a while at least to get in on the speak pipe. Give us a shout. No topic is too sacred. Just get in touch. Get in there. Head to speakpipe.com/Neutral Cider Hotel. And please do leave us a message. So there we go. Okay, well, that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much for listening and supporting the Neutral Cider Hotel. Until next week, have fun, enjoy some cider, and wassail.